What's up, everybody, and welcome to Biockickz 3 Raw TV. Today I want to talk a little bit about something I've been getting a lot of emails about, a lot of messages. Jerry, do you think steroids will kill you? Jerry, do you think steroids kill? Jerry, do you think It's a lot about steroids and bodybuilding in general, but I think the bodybuilding lifestyle is unhealthy. Look, guys, I think that any athletic endeavor at any high level is unhealthy. Do I think bodybuilding is obsessive? Yes. Do I think that's unhealthy? Yes. Do I think that somebody trying to be a college football player can be obsessive and unhealthy? Yes. Do I think that even wrestlers in high school wrestlers, do I think that's unhealthy? Yes. Those kids starve themselves down. Gymnastics in high school, gymnastics before high school, wrestling before high school. There's a lot of things out there, guys, that are unhealthy. And I think the steroid thing is what really makes it demonized to the public that, you take steroids in your bodybuilder, you're going to die. It's like, well, your kid's been starving himself to make a 113 on the wrestling team for 3 years now when he's a natural 140-pounder. Yeah, he could die too. I actually had a friend, Jim Quinn, I've talked about him in the past, who was a wrestler for Rhode Island College. And, through high school, he would really cut down. He did it quick. He didn't do it a healthy way. And the last season that he wrestled, he hadn't cut a lot of weight. He came down slow. He was maintaining his weight good. And he was taking Rip Fuel, which was a supplement that was on the market that actually had Mawang, or I think actually had ephedra in it, or ephedrine in it. It was ephedrine, caffeine, and aspirin, and something else. And he had a heart attack and died at like 22 or 23, maybe 21. He died on the field, running back from the field to the school because of an underlying heart problem that he didn't know about. Now, his parents knew about it, but it seemed that he had outgrown it. Never gave him that information because it seemed he had outgrown it, but he had an underlying heart problem. I think a lot of the things that happen in bodybuilding right now are underlying problems. Now, there are things that are caused by, training in general, athletes in general. If you are an athlete in any degree that you're extreme, you are going to have health complications. I've had two people that I know in the past that were fairly big dudes. And one of them went to the doctor, they did a test on him, whatever, they thought his kidneys were failing. So he was fucking freaked out. They made him wait like 2 days to go to the other specialist. He goes to the specialist, he walks through the door, the guy looks at him, he's like 250. Guy didn't even take steroids, he's like 250. And the doctor goes, "You lift weights, don't you?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Do you train heavy?" He goes, "Yeah, I train 5 days a week, I do this." The doctor was like, "You're fine." He's like, "Well, we see this in a lot of athletes that are, training intensely with weights, they break down protein, it comes out in the urine." I think it was athletes that were running long distances. We see the same thing, protein in the urine, and we can pretty much tell you right now that you're fine. We'll run some tests and stuff, but I'm telling you right now that you're fine. And they saw this over and over again. Now, I actually went into the hospital in, I was about 21 years, 22. I don't even remember what year it is. Anyways, so it was when the Fast and Furious came out. Whatever year that was, 2001, I believe. The first movie. I know that because it was in the theaters, and I had seen it before I got sick. And I went there with pneumonia, and they had checked everything that was going on with me, and I pretty much, was on my last leg and I was going to die. And eventually, I didn't. Now, they gave me Levaquin. I've told this whole story about I almost died. And I actually died in the hospital a couple times. Like, I kind of fucking didn't have vitals and stuff, and they had to get me back. And they said that my heart was enlarged. When it was all said and done, they said my heart was slightly enlarged. And I said, "Well, what is it from?" And they said, "Well, we asked you the questionnaire and stuff." This is before I left the hospital. He said, "Growth hormone that you're taking, this could have done it, but also the way that you train and your body weight." I was probably 240 pounds, 250 pounds when I was in the hospital. And they're like, "Your body weight, your muscle is a heart." They were explaining to me it's contracting like this. It hypertrophies the same thing as another muscle. And the more you make your heart work, the more it hypertrophies, the heart walls thicken, and the more enlarged your heart gets. Now, I didn't listen. Of course, I started taking growth hormone again, pushed my weight again. That's just what I did for the X amount of years that I was doing it. But, I can also not know whether or not it was due to the training and the high body weight or the growth hormone. So I can't speak out either way, but there was definitely something there when I was younger, and I ignored it. Will it come back to bite me in the ass in the future? Hopefully not. We'll see. But the bottom line is, guys, I'm seeing people talk about steroids killing and steroids this, steroids bad. Now, I'm not here to demonize steroids and tell you that they're bad. I'm not saying they're going to kill you. I'm not saying that at all. I'm also not telling you that they're healthy. There's a lot of other unhealthy shit out there. Like, my grandfather smoked a pipe tobacco, which was unfiltered, which you're not supposed to do, and drank heavily, like every fucking day of his life. I mean, it was stuff that he drank, this Portuguese moonshine that his friends made that was like fucking turpentine. You had to drink it in a glass because it would eat through a cup. And he drank this all the time. He'd get up in the middle of the night and drink when he'd fucking go to the bathroom, like, whiskey, brandy. I mean, that's just what he did. He was in the fucking sun like 12 hours a day on his hands and knees digging in the dirt, fucking no sunblock. I mean, he lived to be 96 and didn't have any issues. No liver issues, no kidney issues, nothing. So it's like, he did everything that basically would damage your body the way it should, and he was fine. So I do think a lot of it is genetic. I also think it depends on how fucking far you push too. I do think that you know, if you're using things that are super liver toxic and you don't give your liver a chance to rest and regenerate, I do believe you're going to fuck yourself up. I do believe if you fuck with diuretics enough, long enough, hard enough, you'll fry your fucking kidneys. You know, these guys, you know, back in the 90s were doing, you know, the European Grand Prix Tour would be like 7 shows or 10 shows in 14 days. Well, how the fuck you think they're drying out? You know, the guys nowadays do 1 show a year. Those guys were fucking popping their damn diuretics like they were fucking Tic Tacs. And a lot of them had kidney problems. You know, some have had kidney transplants. So I do believe that there are things that can push you to the edge, you know, and push you over the edge and give you health complications. But I was reading a thing, I believe it was on Get Big. I love Get Big. I've been on there for so long now. And they always find out information like right when it happens before anybody else does. I don't know how the fuck they get the info, but they do the, you know, the Deadpool, which they have. They guess who's going to die next. But they also had a post about how many bodybuilders under the age of 50 have died. Now, some of them were like suicides. I mean, it wasn't, you know, some of them were heart attack. We saw heart attack, you know, quite a few times in there. But as far as, let's say you had 1 million bodybuilders, right? There were like less than 100 that can be tied to being under 50 dying. Now, 1 million bodybuilders and having 100 die is not a really big statistic. More people than that die on a daily basis due to natural causes, unnatural causes, and everything else in between. And, you know, at 50 years old, if you have a high body weight, this is the key, guys. I promise you, this is the key. If your body weight is high, and I'm talking about your body mass index, which I used to not believe in. I thought the body BMI was the biggest bunch of bullshit because I didn't understand health. I really didn't. I was all about if you were lean enough, it didn't matter if you were 400 pounds. If you're lean enough, you're fine. Yeah, then Greg Kovacs kicks the bucket. He was lean all the time. He was never fat, right? Well, he fucking kicked the bucket, right? Because you can't have that high body mass index and have your heart contracting like that over that amount of time. When you're getting older, your organs are starting to fucking wear down. I mean, they only have a fucking so long that they can keep up and not repair themselves before they just fucking stop. So if your body mass index is high over the age of 40, you have a much higher fucking chance of having a heart attack and dying than if you did when you were 20. So you can push the fuck out of your body when you're 20, 40, you can't do it. 50, even less. 60, even less. Like the older you get, the higher the chances go. So I do believe that the bodybuilding lifestyle in the excess as far as the mass gaining, it can absolutely have an adverse effect and it can kill you early. We've seen plenty of, there's a lot of people that I noticed on that list that died. It was heart complications, heart attacks, a lot of them. I'd say more percentage of heart attacks than other causes, which that would be a little bit alarming that there's that one thing killing those big guys over and over again. And, you know, if it wasn't for my wife explaining stuff to me that she sees in the CVOR every day, you know, it's not about being lean. It's not about your, you know, body fat and how, you know, how much you fucking, you know, can maintain on your physique. It's how high is your blood pressure, which uncontrolled high blood pressure will fucking kill you. And you don't feel bad. You feel nothing. There's no warning signs. You just fucking die. And heart problems. The bigger you are, the more likely you are to have a heart problem, and especially as you get up there in age. And this is straight across the fucking, you know, the board as far as people that take steroids and don't take steroids. But remember, when you take steroids at that age, you increase your fucking chances. You're increasing the possibility that you're going to have a heart problem, a heart attack, something that's going on, high blood pressure, something that's going on, then you're going to have a higher chance than someone that's not taking them. It does increase that chance. So all you guys out there that are young right now, in your teens, 20s, early 30s, mid-30s even, that are like, oh, fuck you, trust me, you're going to sit in my shoes. I promise, guys. I promise. I swear to you, my fucking right hand to God, that I used to be like you. I used to fucking laugh at the older guys. I used to make fun of them for the aching joints, the fact that they couldn't train anymore. I used to make fun of them for the stories that they told. I used to make fun of them that they fucking didn't want to be big anymore and they fucking shriveled up. I used to be you. And now I'm not. Now I'm them. Now I see it from a whole different perspective, and that's what wisdom is. Okay, right now you may have some smarts, right? And you know, but you don't have wisdom. I promise you don't. And I'm hoping that more people, you know, Phil Herndon likes to speak out about this stuff because he now has the wisdom too. He does it in a little different way. You know, he says it like a little more harsh than I think I do. He has a way of just being fucking aggravated and going after people and being like, "What is wrong with you?" Fucking shaking and be like, "You're gonna fucking die." And I think that if more people actually spoke out about the situation and said, "Look, you know, when I was in my 20s, 30s, I pushed the envelope. It wasn't fucking a big deal, but, you know, I want you to have the right information. I want you to know that if you do this, you can fuck yourself up. And you will get to a point in your life where you're realizing that this is not worth it. And I hope that happens soon, guys. So realize, guys, bodybuilding itself doesn't fuck people up and kill them. It's the decisions that you make. It's personal responsibility. If you follow a certain lifestyle and do certain things, you will increase your chances of getting fucked up faster. BioStrengthTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biostrength.com is the blog, and so you'll know when you get there. Bicep, and we're out.